Life loves handing out lemons. Everyone has probably heard the phrase, when life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. But what if life gives you so many lemons that they would go bad before you could make lemonade? What if instead of that small basket your friend got, life is backing semi-loads down your driveway? What if instead of continuing to struggle to make that lemonade, there was a better way out? I used to tell people that I ran, because I did. A little over 5 years ago, I was running half marathons, playing tennis, volleyball, and hiking around the Black Hills of South Dakota. I wasn't fast by any means, but I enjoyed running the trails and exploring new places. Like many people in their early 20s, I didn't think there was anything that could stop me. A slip on the ice proved me wrong. This was the first of the lemons that life was going to bring me. A small fracture in my foot shouldn't stop me, right? A little over a year after I had fractured my foot, I had the first surgery to correct it. I lived life fairly normally after. Couldn't run, but at least I was able to hike around this beautiful valley that we had just moved to. My husband and I even started dreaming about a family and began the process to adopt a child. A little over a year after that surgery, I found another fracture from the original fall that had gotten worse after surgery. I decided to push a second surgery off a few months to try and heal it naturally. And then COVID hit. This pushed the surgery off another 6 months. At this point, I started to struggle keeping up with all the lemons. It became mentally exhausting not knowing if I was ever going to be able to run again. During the first few weeks after this second surgery, I was hopeful that this was going to fix it and I was going to run again. I kept waiting for the pain to go away. But at the 8-week mark, I felt like they had performed surgery that morning. A few weeks later, life brought the biggest load of lemons yet. I was diagnosed with CRPS, Complex Regional Pain Syndrome. When I first got my diagnosis, I called my sister, who's a physician, and asked her what this all meant for me. Her first words to me were, "You're fudged." Not exactly, but you get the point. CRPS is rare and is the most painful disease known to man. There is no cure, only a handful of therapies and procedures to try and relieve some of the pain. The pain was so intense. A light breeze felt like razors were being dragged across my foot. Putting on a sock felt like an elephant was crushing it. And my foot was so cold, like it had been left in a freezer all day. I was told at the beginning of my diagnosis that if I attacked it hard right away, there was a good chance I could go into remission. So I did. Intensive physical therapy, mirror therapy, pills, multiple spinal cord injections. You name it, I tried it. During the first few months of procedures, we also got some devastating news. Since I had been diagnosed with chronic pain, we were no longer eligible to adopt a child and had to withdraw from the process. More lemons and more pain and more heartache. Every procedure I tried kept making the pain worse. I kept pushing through every excruciating procedure to try and find some relief, including spinal cord surgery in July of last year. The pain was unbearable. the more pain, the more my mind and body would break, the more I came to understand why it was called the suicide disease. I couldn't sleep, so I started to hallucinate. I couldn't eat, so my body started failing. I had fought so hard to survive, but how was I gonna keep on keeping on? There was no cure. I had no relief, and this was no way to live. Over 50% of all CRPS patients experience thoughts of suicide. I was part of that, constantly wishing I could just get rid of the pain, and knowing that with each failed procedure, I was getting closer to no treatments left to try. At this point, it was cutting off my leg or ending my life that would stop the pain. I was sure of it. In August of last year, as a very last resort, I met with an orthopedic surgeon who specialized in amputations. He told me it was an option, but there were tons of risks. There could be phantom pain, which could be just as bad as the CRPS pain. The CRPS could continue to spread up my leg to the rest of my body. And if I still had that pain, there was a good chance I couldn't use a prosthetic, which meant I wouldn't be able to walk again. There was a 50% chance that the CRPS wouldn't spread, and much less of a chance that I would be totally pain-free. When you hear those odds, it doesn't sound promising, but I chose to have my leg amputated anyways. I chose to give life the lemons back. I've been told that making that choice was brave, but when choosing to live, it doesn't make you brave, it makes you strong. The month and a half leading up to the amputation was the toughest mentally. I had made the choice to lose my leg, but everyone around me told me I was wrong. Doctors, friends, and my own family told me that living a life missing my leg would be worse than living a life with pain. Pain that was killing me. My support system grew smaller every day, and it felt like defeat. And this was the battle for the last glimmer of hope. On the day of amputation, I hadn't slept in a week, hadn't eaten food in a month. My body was dying, but my mind was at peace, knowing that even though others didn't believe in my decision, I put every last ounce of strength into believing that this would work. The surgeon came in, and we were off. I had a stone of strength taped to my hand from my Reiki master and told the team I was ready for my nap. I cried when I woke up. I sobbed like a baby. I had no pain. I hadn't had a pain-free moment in years. I still hadn't won the war against this disease, but the score was finally in my favor. I had finally gotten a dump truck to take those rotten lemons off my driveway. Those moments where I told myself maybe tomorrow would be the day the shipment of lemons would stop had finally happened. Today, I am 9 months post-op, and I get to reimagine my life the way I wanted, with the smell of freshly squeezed lemons. I've never pushed myself so hard as I have in the last 9 months. I've run 2 5Ks, gone skiing, hiking, and done so much more. I started a new job. I've learned so many new things, and I started a support group for other amputees here locally. But how did I get here? By taking the time to pause, reset, and grow my mind each day, and finding the small moment of happiness and doing that as well. For me, taking 15 minutes uninterrupted to drink my coffee on my patio every morning was a great way to reset. A time to remind myself that I had the strength to fight today. Time to remind myself that it's okay to feel upset, get angry, and feel all of the emotions. And a time to remind myself that the strength I have today will be greater tomorrow. Our mental health is impacted whenever we encounter life's challenges, whether it's a small inconvenience or those truckloads of lemons. Ignoring those things that affect your mind can be detrimental to your health. Those lemons made me believe that I'd not ever get better, and that I wasn't as strong as I truly am. Taking the time to tell yourself, let's fight again tomorrow, will be one of the toughest lessons you will have to learn. Surviving each day takes insurmountable feats of strength. And just remember, when life gives you lemons, you have the strength to give them back.